ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the I.M.A.G.E Show. And we've got a wonderful guest in the house with us this evening. Her name is Cherise Young, and Cherise is from Des Moines, Iowa. She's formerly incarcerated, and she also has a wonderful story to tell. Cherise, it's a pleasure to have you on the I.M.A.G.E Show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, first of all, I want to get into your story, Cherise. I think that it's very, very compelling. It fits this show, and not only that, but it's also exciting. When I say exciting, I mean the story, it gratifies your attention. It demands your attention. I know that it was the good Lord that came into your cell and changed your heart and led to all the good things that you're doing out here in the community with Blessed and Beyond. And by the way, Cherise is the president and founder of Blessed and Beyond, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's designed to help those coming out of prison transition by giving them the support that they need. And so, Cherise, can you tell us your story?
Okay. I've been to prison. My name is Cherise, and I've been to prison before, several times. And I'll just speak on the last time that I was in prison. It changed me. I came from a pretty good home, and I have a lot of support. And I met these ladies that I would never, ever meet in real life. And so when they began to tell me the hardships, and they didn't have moms or dads or any kind of support, it just softens my heart so much. And God put it on my heart, and I surrendered to it. He said, you are going to help those people transition back into society by putting God first, because that's what changed me. It really did. And it just is such a blessing to be able to reach out and write these ladies and men, and for them to write me back.
So tell us exactly what it is that you do. And for people out there listening right now, you're tuned into the I.M.A.G.E Show on 89.3 KJMC, the heart and soul of the city. For those of you joining us by YouTube, we want to welcome you and invite you to get out there and continue to subscribe. We've got Cherise Young, and she is the president and founder of Blessed and Beyond. And I know a lot of inmates who have said a lot of good things, inmates who have come out of prison, and they said a lot of good things about your organization, how just that getting that letter, that mail on mail call was such a relief, and to know that there was somebody out here in the community that really cared about those who were incarcerated.
Yes, it started out, Blessed Beyond is more than a newsletter, but that's how it started. Just to reach those people, to make sure when they woke up and they go to that list, they see that somebody cares and that somebody loves them. I also want to someday go into the prisons and tell my story, and to reach people and to get the communities involved to help these people get out, to get some laws changed for reoffenders. Just get them some support, because some people have no mom, no dad, no family, nothing. They don't have anyone. And that causes them sometimes to reoffend because they don't have anywhere to go.
Sure. And how successful has your organization been with that? I mean, people that are coming out of prison, do they reach back out to you and, ask for extended help?
Yes, I had two people that I worked with. One is Floyd. You met him. I reached out to you, and you met him.
Yeah, Floyd's
and helped him get a job.
Yes.
And
yes.
Ruth Ann Bill, she was locked up.
Yes.
She reaches out to me. I talk to her and give her support and recommend churches and different things for her to do while she's out. So yeah, they do reach out to me when they get out looking for that support.
That's great. Ruth Ann Veal, shouts out to you and all that you've been doing. You have been a marvelous blessing and role model for all the juvenile lifers who were formerly convicted of life and then had that overturned. And so she's one of those individuals that had made it out after serving a life sentence. And then she's been out in the community doing well, using all of her support groups. Mm-hmm. Because I know of some other people that are also working with Ruth Ann Veal. Yeah, that's beautiful. And then Floyd also, he's also, I know his dad. you know, and so I've been knowing him ever since I was a youngster, you know, out there on the block. And so, you know, I got a lot of respect for him, and I got a lot of respect for his son. He's a real smart individual, just happened to get caught up, and he's trying to get his life together.
Yes.
And you're trying to help him.
Yes, I talk to him very often. Matter of fact, he's going to be writing in the next issue of Blessed and Beyond. He will be in there. He sometimes comes in and shares his story, his struggles of being out, you know, what he needs right now to get him through.
Yeah, and his father, Floyd, is originally from Chicago.
Yeah.
And, you know, he came down here, and, you know, now he has a son. His son lives here, and so I guess his son is pretty much from here. But, yeah, it's nice to see how a lot of the heritage just kind of unfolds around here. And a lot of respect to, you know, a lot of the people that I grew up with. You know, a lot of them have been to prison. A lot of them have went off and done good things. But even the ones that have been to prison, I find out that the ones that have done extensive time, like, you know, 7, 8 years or more, those are the ones who are more likely to be successful in reentry. I don't know why that is. Well, I guess I do, because, you know, you spend that much time in jail or prison, then, yeah, it changes you. But do you think that we need to go to prison to change? See, that's the thing. We don't need to go to prison to change. And that's why we have organizations like Blessed and Beyond, the I.M.A.G.E program, Blase Skippity. So what's your take on that? What's your thoughts on people that haven't been to prison, and, you know, they get kind of confused as to, well, are you glorifying the fact that, you know, because you guys have been to prison that, you know, that's what it takes to change? No, that's not what we're doing. So those of you out there listening, there is no glorification in prison. Prison is the bottom slime pit. It's the scum of the earth. You know, it's the bottom of the rack. However, it's where you can go to create change and to find a higher power.
Yes, it is.
Jesus Christ for me and you.
Yeah, that was amazing. And I know people say, your dad's a preacher, she should know about God. But I didn't have a personal relationship. And he took that time to, when I was there, that I could listen, when nobody was there, and that I would hear him. And he took that time and said, this is it. Take my hand.
So you have a father and a family that has a background of spirituality, being brought up in the church.
Yes.
Right, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It always makes it a lot better to have that understanding.
That's part of the influence of wanting to help them, because I was with some ladies that I would have never met, looked at, wouldn't want it as a friend, until God, that humbled me. That was a humbling experience. And he came in, and my heart just went out to these ladies. Some of them never even had heard about Jesus Christ, and that they're new creatures predestined for greatness. They thought that they had to stay and be that same person. But I wanted them to know you can change, and that there is somebody that loves you. I love you.
That's right. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to the I.M.A.G.E show on 89.3 KJMC, the heart and soul of the city. And we just got back from Boise, Idaho. Hey, I had a beautiful time out in Boise, Idaho. Man, I wish everybody in the world had a chance to visit Boise, Idaho. Those mountains, that whole Mountain West Conference, it is just amazing out there.
Every time I think about Idaho, I think about potatoes.
Yeah. Potatoes, onions, whatnot. We're going to go to a quick commercial. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Sharice Young. You're tuned in to 89.3. Stay locked and loaded on that dial. We'll be back after these messages. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, on the I.M.A.G.E Show, boys and girls. We are glad that you're tuned in every Tuesday evening. 6 p.m., the I.M.A.G.E Show will run on 89.3, and we invite you all to tune in. We've also got some great benefits through the I.M.A.G.E program, sponsorship packages available, and we're going to let you take a good look at some of that and see if you're interested. I think that it is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, especially for the Black businesses, small businesses, promoters, whatnot, in the Des Moines area. I encourage you to go to the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast, and you will find the information there needed. You can also go to YouTube and look at, or go to imageforlives.com, and we'll have that information there for you. So Cherise Young is, again, the president and founder of Blessed and Beyond. She's with us on the show today. Cherise, again, it's a pleasure to have you on the I.M.A.G.E Show, and we want to hear your story. We want to hear it raw and uncut. I mean, there's a lot of people who give you support around here and give you a lot of props for your organization that you started. And so for those who don't know Cherise, we want to get a chance to really hear the story.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa, by my parents, Billy and Vera Young. Pretty good life. Went to Roosevelt High School. My criminal behaviors didn't start until I went to college, St. Ambrose University. I had a scholarship for music, singing, and I met some girls. They showed me some ways of how to steal, take things that didn't belong to me. And I got caught. I got charged with second-degree burglary, which carries 10 years. I got sent to ICIW, where I did 10 months. And at this time, I was married. By the time I got convicted, I was married and I had a son. And when I first went to prison, it was different. Mitchellville was different. You could smoke cigarettes, and it wasn't, as bad as it got. I don't know, like something didn't sink in my head when I first went back. And so when I got out, I kept reoffending. I didn't reoffend, but I kept drinking, smoking, doing things that I wasn't supposed to get me sent back. And so I went back again. I caught a new theft charge, went back for another 9 months, and then got out again, moved to Louisiana. By this time, I'm 31 years old. And just keep going back and forth to prison for stupid stuff. I was on the run because I absconded my parole. And when I came to Iowa to visit one year, they caught me. They took me back to prison again. This time it was a little bit different. I was a little tired. Not tired enough. But by this time, I was addicted to cocaine. This time I was snorting cocaine. I was doing drugs. And that didn't make it any better. And I think it was February 28th of 2008 is when I tried to kill myself. That's how I got off the drugs. I was just paranoid. I had my 4 children with me. I went and got a hotel room. I took a lot of drugs, and I wanted to end my life because I told God that if I couldn't stop on my own, and I told God if he couldn't take it away, then to kill me. I wanted to die because hell had to be better than my lifestyle that I was living. And I got sober. I got clean. I went to Bernie Loran, and I got clean. I've never touched the stuff ever again and don't have the desire to. But Cherise had a problem with keeping her license. So while my life was getting a little bit better away from the drugs, I still went to church, but I wasn't really into it. I just went. I got caught driving on my way to work. They pulled me over because they said my car had got painted a different color and I should have changed my plates. Anyway, I went back to prison. I went to prison for driving with a suspended license. And it's a 2-year charge, but I did 9 months and I was discharged. But the thing that made this time different is because I stopped. I wasn't worried about going home. I was worried about my soul and my life. I wanted to make a change. I didn't want to come back here. I was tired, and I just spent time in the Word with God. I spent the time helping the women, praying with them, singing with them. Matter of fact, we had a prayer group that I started in Mitchellville. Before yard would close, all the women would come, whoever wanted to join us, and we would pray. We would pray every single day, whether it was cold, raining, snowing. And that is really where I laid the foundation and met these wonderful, wonderful women. And so when I got out, I started just writing them, and that's how Blessed to Beyond got started, and that's how my ministry got started. This is my purpose, is to help the incarcerated.
That is awesome. That is really, it's awesome. And when you were telling your story, I could hear a lot of the emotion behind the words. You know, first of all, going through those dark walls is never fun. And once you get to that point where you've had enough, and you know, your mind has literally told you that you've had enough, and then it comes with a little maturity as well. And once you mix that with reading those scriptures, I mean, it's all over with.
Yeah, that's what got me. The word, that's what keeps me.
I can really relate to that. And I commend you for, you know, being able to recognize the wrong that you was doing and having enough of it, and then finding a way, you know, to be able to change. I mean, there's a tool, there's a tactic, there's keys, there's things that you have to know to be able to change. You don't just do it. First of all, I think that, you know, once you realize the consequences and you're living in the consequences, then you understand that is enough to be able to change your mind to do something else. I mean, like for me, I knew that I couldn't continue to sell drugs. So I'm thinking the whole time that I'm in prison, okay, I know I've got enough. I know I've had enough of going back to prison. However, what am I going to do now to replace that behavior? Well, that behavior, first I have to look at the reason why I had the behavior. It was for money. I wanted money. I wanted the money without responsibilities. I had to have extra money. I had to do the things that I like to do. You know, it's not going to cut it, you know, working a minimum wage job. And then you got child support on top of all that, right? So, I mean, that's an issue in itself.
Yeah, it is.
And then all the other things that come along with parole, probation, or, you know, fees, and then trying to have a car, trying to have a life, you have kids, you know, you have to have money to be able to function. So I knew that I had to replace this type of behavior. So I told myself, I'm going to start the I.M.A.G.E program. This is going to help me. This is going to help keep me responsible. It's going to help me help other people. And I'm going to be doing the exact same thing that I've been doing this whole 11 years in prison. Because I had changed my life. You know, I was living a complete changed life in prison. I was, you know, working out every day. I was, you know, reading my Bible. I was working, and work was one of the things that really caught my interest, because I knew this was something that I had to be able to master in order to get out here and not sell drugs, right, because I need the money.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had a plan, and, you know, that's what I try to encourage, you know, all young men out there, old men, whoever, you know, if you have not had a history of working a job, you're at such a disadvantage in life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was one of the things that I had replaced it with. And I'll tell you, it's just been life-changing for me, Sharice. It really has. You know, God has blessed me beyond measures. You know, I mean, I'm healthy. You know, I have the opportunity to be able to travel. I have the opportunity to be able to still interact with a lot of people who I burned bridges with in the past, you know? So God restored everything and then some. I mean, my own radio show now, you know, this was another blessing and another one of those things that I was striving for. the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast, and all of these things. It comes with responsibility, but these are the things that replaces those kind of behaviors that I had that led me to selling drugs. I always go back to when I was in college playing basketball, and after college was over, I had no clue then what to do. It was like the world just stopped. I was just thrown out there, and I didn't know how to work. I didn't know how to stand on my feet for 10 hours, a day, and be patient enough to, watch the day progress into work that I've been doing. Didn't have any of that understanding. Didn't even have the understanding. And that's what's wrong with a lot of our people today. They don't have that understanding. And so we have to teach it. We have to teach it. And, the best way of teaching it is living by example. And that's why I got out there this summer and I worked 16-hour days. I did this not so much for the work itself. I did it for the challenge because I knew it was something that I needed to do. I wanted to see, I wanted to be one of those people to work 16-hour days. I got a brother, my brother Marlon. He works hard, and has been for, the last decade or so. And, that's encouraging, when I hear about him talking about how he's going to work, this pickup this weekend and make, all this money overtime. I mean, he's able to drive a Lexus, drive a nice car, have his own nice, 2-bedroom apartment. These are things that come with working and working hard, and there's rewards in that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, speaking of that, where do you work?
I work for Heavenly Creations Child Care. It is my mother's child care center business. I've been working there for about 15 years. And it's now, we bought our own building, and so we have a center.
Well, that's great. That's beautiful. I personally was just hired at the Wilkie House for a after-school program teacher. So
That's going to be neat.
yeah, this is nice. And so I was already working with Precious Beginnings in the Park Fair area at True Bible Church as one of the teachers there. And so I was able to get a lot of training, a lot of experience, and so I think that this is even actually a better step.
Have you worked with children before?
Yeah, I have. I pretty much worked with kids all my life, even, in basketball camps, things like that.
Well, I think I actually was just thinking because I want to change jobs. I love my job, but I want to get into more of giving. Blessing Beyond has been going to Bethel Mission and Mills of Heartland because this is the season for giving. And I want to get that type of job where I can just be around people so I can minister to them and help them.
That's great. That is beautiful. I want to give some shouts out right now to some of the people in the Des Moines area, the Des Moines, Iowa community, people who have been big supporters. And so first we've got Cameron Middlebrooks. He was one of the guys that come to my mind. He's always been real active with the NAACP. He's the president of the Des Moines chapter. Do you know Cam?
Mm-mm.
You don't know. He's a great guy. Does a lot of good work. And then you've got Marvin DeGier. Marvin was the guy who hired me at the Evelyn K. Davis Center and gave me my first start. So, things weren't always roses at the Evelyn K. Davis Center. Actually, they were, to start off with. I mean, it was a great experience. It was a great opportunity. It led to a lot of progression in what I'm doing today. So I can't have anything but respect, for him and for that whole organization for that matter.
Okay, so you're no longer there?
No.
Okay.
Nope. So, but again, I give shouts out to Marvin DeGier for hiring me, and to work for a Black African-American director was also pretty awesome in itself in a lot of ways. This was a relief actually, because here you had someone who hired you, and then the scene was so laid back, but yet it was ran with a lot of integrity. You know what I'm saying? And so he taught me, how to have integrity in doing the work that I do. A lot of my wording, my communication, there's a lot of professional teaching that I got directly from him that I was very, very proud of and happy. And I carried it on with me, even to start the I.M.A.G.E show. He was the one that actually gave the green light to start the I.M.A.G.E show. I came to him with the plan, the idea, and he wrote the check. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. So, nothing but mad love and big respect for that. So, who would you like to give a shout out to out there?
I would like to give a shout out to John Naughton. That is one of my big supporters.
Who?
John Naughton.
John Naughton. Oh yeah, I remember John. Who could forget John?
No, he's a great guy. It was just, I think that God sent him to me. We were friends for about 3 years. And as soon as I mentioned that I wanted to do Blessed and Beyond, he said he believed in me. He believed in me. And I was like, oh, maybe next year. He's like, no, we're doing it next month. He's a great guy. He always is there helping me out with Blessed and Beyond. He goes above and beyond. So he's amazing. I also want to give a shout out to my parents who are awesome. I just love them and I love my church. Yeah.
Good. That's good. And speaking of John, he was the sports writer for the Des Moines Register.
Yes.
Back in the day, and he covered a lot of my high school basketball games. And so, even through your organization and, through meeting him with your events and things that you've had in the past, he's helped me prepare some press releases and things like that. So, I appreciate John. I wish he could have been here today.
Yep, he couldn't make it today. He's out doing what he does, helping people.
Okay, that's great. Ladies and gentlemen, you're locked and loaded into nothing but love on 89.3 KJMC, the heart and soul of the city. And we've got Sharice Young in the house with us, the president and founder of Blessed and Beyond. And Blessed and Beyond is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's geared and designed to help those who are re-entering society.
Yep.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on the show,
Thank you for inviting me.
Sharice. Yes. And again, we look forward to staying in contact and keeping up with each other's progress. And this is what the I.M.A.G.E show is for. We want to help people who have other organizations. For those of you out there, if you've got a compelling story, if you have an organization, if you're looking to kind of build on that platform, I encourage you to reach out to me. Robert Pate, 515-326-5498. And we're out of time this evening. So we are going to have to say so long and thank you so much for tuning in and not touching that dial.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll see you next time.